You know, during our time in the last couple of months, my good friend Brendan has tried to teach us all things real estate, but no matter what, every week I say, hold on, what does that word mean? So this week, he just decided to give us a little vocabulary lesson that I very much appreciate. Brendan Cold Iron, broker and owner of Next Home Cold Iron Group. Thanks for being here, my friend.
Always.
We're talking terms, things realtors say, right?
Yes. Slang that realtors use when the average buyer or seller wouldn't actually know what those mean. So
Okay.
we just have a whole list of
I
vocabulary
like it.
we're going to run through.
Run through it. Okay,
All
first
right.
one is appraisal.
That is the actual value of your property compared to other properties done by a licensed appraiser. They do have the final say in true value.
Okay, and then next up, what is the, okay, a buyer's market. What does buyer's market mean?
Buyer's market is we have more homes for sale than actual buyers in the market.
Okay, then next up, cloud on title. I've never heard that one.
This is what you don't want. This
Oh,
is
you
when
don't want this.
You do not want this. This is when you own the property and someone died in previous title and it wasn't fixed properly. So then our title to the property is messed up and we have to go back to previous errors and it can make it a really long sale.
Okay, we don't want that. Okay,
No.
so commission.
Commission is what real estate agents get paid for their services.
Okay, easy peasy. Contingency.
Contingency is anything on the contract that could keep it from going forward that could be terminated prior to closing, such as their option period or financing.
Okay, a counter offer.
Counteroffer is a changed offer from your original offer, so usually sellers will send back a counteroffer.
There can be lots of counter offers.
Yes, many.
And that's really fun.
For nobody.
Said no one ever.
Said no
Default,
one ever.
what is that? Or default?
Default is failure to perform under the contract terms.
Okay.
Either buyer or seller. If the buyer backed out a day before closing, they're in default. If the seller doesn't close, they're in default.
Okay, now this next one, I still don't think I understand what it is, and that's earnest money.
Earnest money is what you would write a check for the title company showing that you're a ready and willing buyer,
Okay.
and it goes towards your amount due at closing, as long as you proceed with the contract.
Okay.
It's good faith money,
Okay, so it's like a down payment, essentially?
essentially.
Oh, no. See.
It's a deposit.
It's a deposit. Okay, all right. Foreclosure.
Foreclosure is when you don't pay your mortgage and the bank takes your house from you, like auto repossession.
Okay, how about an inspection?
Inspection is an in-depth property evaluation done by a licensed inspector.
Okay, and then the offer, we know what that is.
Formal request to buy your house.
And then what's option money? What is this exactly?
Option money is the unrestricted right for a buyer to terminate the contract, and it's paid to the seller for them to take it off the market for X amount of days to get those inspections done.
So that's something that I think, something good to have in,
Yes.
you know, in play for
Yes.
sure. Okay. And then your pre-approval.
It's just a conditional letter from a lender to buy a house, usually required when making an offer.
Okay, does that ever change the pre-approval? Is that what you're actually approved, or does that?
No, that's just a
Okay.
basic. Then we go into the formal underwriting, which can change
Okay.
based on how you did your application.
Got it. Okay, how about a sales contract?
Just a legal binding agreement between the parties to sell a house and buy a house.
Easy. A seller contribution, what is that?
This is also known as seller paid closing costs. It's a amount from the seller to credit the buyer's closing costs due at closing.
Okay, and then a seller's market, we often hear that term.
That is a pretty common market which we are in, more active buyers and active listings.
More active buyers than active listings, so it's benefiting to...
Usually March to September is a seller's market, and then buyer's markets in the winter because we usually have an influx. Not a lot of people want to move around the holidays.
Got it, okay. Survey.
Survey is a drawn aerial image of your property showing that your property boundaries, where they meet, where your land ends, where your fence is, and almost every loan requires one.
And then lastly, your title insurance.
Title insurance, it protects the buyer from the date of closing backwards if there were any liens that weren't found in the title process.
Okay. That's so easy. You say it like we should all know.
No, those are good terms that every buyer and seller should know. Most people don't know those terms.
Okay, so if we're going to put all of those on myhighplains.com, actually I think they're already up there. So if you want to go back and, you know, read up on some of Brennan's suggestions and his vocabulary words, we'll have a pop quiz later in the show. Just kidding.
Yes.
No, that would be awful.
I'll stay around for that.
Okay, thank you, my friend. We appreciate you coming in. Stick around, everybody. Coming up on the rest of the show today, the clock is ticking until college kids head back to class. When they embark on their scholastic journey, they need to get the best gear in tech, and we are going to have a look at what they need to succeed. Plus, we're talking about